YouTube after way too long a break in between. After starting school, presidential election, my 17th birthday, and a whole lot of other events in between and before and afterwards, I've finally gotten to this part. Now, I know what you're thinking, what do you mean 3 months? Well, I'd actually filmed all of this around in the first week of August. Now, the problem was, as soon as I started school, I became busy beyond all belief. Now, I know y'all aren't interested in my school life. I mean, if you are, comment on it, I can definitely tell you all about it, that's for sure. I've had a whole lot of weeks to come up with. I mean, a whole quarter of school, almost on Thanksgiving break, so that's about halfway point. But I know you don't want me to talk about my life, you want me to talk about the game. Now, here is the event where you get to fight Kagemaru, the superintendent. As Shepard's explaining right here, you have to let him summon the sacred beast of choice, and then beat him to actually finish up the duel. This means that if you beat him without him summoning the sacred beast card, then you'll just have to refight him, and some websites have said try using this as a way to get experience, but I think that's kind of a boring way, and these duels are hard. These are some of the hardest duels you'll have in the game, minus like a few people maybe. And in case you haven't noticed, with all the continuous spell cards and the Lightning Skyfire deck name, this is his Hamon deck. Now, I don't remember the names as well as I used to. I remember I used to be obsessed with this whenever they showed up on the anime. But yeah, immediately he summons up Hamon, Lord of Striking Thunder. So, yeah, prepare for some tough duels. Thankfully, he left one of his Vengeful Bog Spirit cards, and that allows me to survive the first turn that he summons any monster. Of course, it involves me too. So, hooray. Now, I have not looked at these duels in a while. I did kind of look over them to try to remember the sort of what happened. But, I mean, I do win all 3 of them. The nice thing about these duels is that even though you have to do 3 of them, and they're all shadow games, meaning if you lose them, that's immediately game over. The nice thing about them is that once you win a duel, then a cutscene will happen, and you get to go save, or, buy more packs or change your deck. I've maintained the same deck throughout this whole thing, so didn't have to go that far, thankfully. But yeah, this is a long episode full of 3 about 9-minute duels. I had to do some real finagling on a couple of them, but yeah, you can win these duels fairly easily. You just have to be wary of the ever-present threat of he has a really good deck for all 3 of his cards, and he somehow has 3 copies of them, even though there's really only supposed to be 1 copy of each, as in the anime, but who cares? Now, spoiler alert, once you beat him here and complete this event, and then beat the main game, in the after game you can find this guy kind of just wandering around, and it's like wandering around in the afternoon on the weekends, and you duel him in shadow duels. And from what I've heard, if you beat him enough, you can obtain the Sacred Beast cards. Now, like I've said before, after a certain point in the after game, I just become bored with the after game, so I've never gone that far. I did for a while maintain a after game file and was constantly playing it to try and do all these special events and have fun with it, and I was having fun with it. By the time I was able to unlock all the cards that I could buy, and thanks to the pack glitch, I could actually go ahead and mess around with, it, it really is a lot more fun than you would think. But like I said, it can get a bit boring after a while, so there you go. Sorry about the pause, it's been a while since I've done these. This duel isn't coming out too much for now. I say for now because I actually do pull off a really nice strategy for beating him. Oh yeah, Messenger of Peace, I hate that card. And I've already given a rant before of how I hate all continuous spell and trap cards now, so can't really say much new about it. So, I guess I'll just talk about what I've been doing in the meantime, why I've been taking so long to do this. Well, first of all, it came off as disinterest. It took me so long to, get the fervor for going ahead and finishing out this part, even though I had filmed all these duels, like I said, first week of August. And so, I mean, I've had free time. It's not like I've been completely busy. Completely in quotes. So, I think the other problem was these parts, these LPs take a little bit more time when I try to make them as complicated as this one. Complicated as in, I film and then I do post commentary. That's how complicated I get. I'm sure not into using like tools or stuff that, not tools, like software or stuff that cost money. I use Live Movie Maker for Pete's sake. So, when I make them this complicated, it takes a lot more time than one would expect. But, I mean, I've just been more interested in stuff that takes less time. I watched the entirety of a Godzilla of the Godzilla the series cartoon. I've gone to a few other shows, and thanks to my school schedule, I've become the biggest fan of movies ever. Oh yeah, and like that nice little move I put out in the very end of this duel. So, it's not so much that I've been disinterested in this, it's just that other stuff has been interesting me more. I've actually stopped playing, well, not really stopped playing, but definitely toned down how many video games I played. And oh hey, Kagemaru is now young and muscular. Jeez, would have been scared to have him as a principal, superintendent, whatever. But yeah, he's going on his good old unoriginal villain rant. It's like, I am invincible! And as for this duel, this is usually what I consider the hardest of the three. The fact that he can get him on out quickly is a bit scary, and Rafael is a bit hard to get out, but can be really hard-hitting. Uriah is the scariest because even though it may take a while for him to set up Uriah with 3 continuous trap cards, he can definitely be a force to be reckoned with his instant 3,000 attack points. In fact, he can add more to it if you got rid of cards before. The stupidity of the continuous trap cards, which can usually include really high defense or other kinds of monsters to deal with. And really, I mean, Uriah is a force to be reckoned with its ability of it can get rid of a trap card and you cannot do anything about it. Now there is one thing I can give to the game that I keep on hating on in this series, Duel Academy, for the Game Boy Advance. It gave you the ability to choose exactly when you can use a trap card or face down card's effect. Because usually the game will interrupt you every 2 minutes and tell you, hey, you can use it now. You want to use it now? How about now? Now? And it can get really frustrating, but then I found you can actually control exactly when you want to use the card's effect, and it can be really nice because, say, you're dueling against Crowler and he sends out Ancient Gear Golem. Well, in this game, the problem is you can't activate, say you have a trap card you can use immediately, such as, sorry if I sound a bit slow here, but you can, Ring of Destruction. If you had a Ring of Destruction and you want to use it, well, you can't use it unless he's attacking, and Gear Golem's effect is you can't use a trap card when it's attacking. So, you can avoid this snafu, and I know that has a horrible meaning behind it, but you know what I'm trying to say here. You can avoid the snafu in Duel Academy because you can set the time you can use Ring of Destruction's effect to, say, when a monster is summoned. That way, whenever it's summoned, you can immediately use it. Now, I haven't done enough of finagling in this game to quite see if you can do that. I mean, if you can do that, please, that would make it so nice. I mean, this would definitely that would definitely cement this game's place in one of the absolute best Yu-Gi-Oh games out there. Although, really, my favorite one so far is Duelist of the Roses, or Duelist of Roses, something like that. And you know, that is a little something I could talk about, is the reason I really like Duelist of the Roses, and the reason why the anime is so absolutely broken when it comes to the card game, is that Duelist of the Roses follows the anime's rules, as in, it doesn't follow any rules. You can use some straight up broken cards, and within the game's confines, you can actually get plenty of places with, you can actually get away with plenty of stuff. And you know, I haven't really seen a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh games do that. I mean, they go by the books. Very few games allow you to experiment with what the anime gives out. Such as, oh, let's just say, the Egyptian God cards. Now, from what I've seen in Nightmare Troubadour, you can use the Egyptian God cards just like they are in the anime. But, I mean, other than the championship games, they don't do much otherwise. I mean, I like that kind of stuff. Why doesn't Yu-Gi-Oh do that more often? I mean, I've seen them go the opposite way before. Some of their GBA games actually take effects away from monsters instead of adding them on. But, I mean, that's why I became disinterested with the Yu-Gi-Oh games after a while, because I didn't see enough experimentation. I didn't see enough new stuff. And from the games I saw that were looking good, I didn't have access to, like a PSP. Or I didn't really care enough that I would go out and get them. Now, as you just saw there was the whole Ring of Destruction effect thing. I could have used it on my draw phase, but no. Uriah just had to use his effect, and I can't counteract the effect. So here I was like, well crap, good thing I got his life points down as far as possible. And then thankfully the 3 trap cards that I was really scared about whether or not they would be just more continuous trap cards or just more monster cards to deal with. Thankfully 2 of them turn out to be just monsters, so I have to think, okay, should I summon a monster and try to attack him, or should I just place the card down and hope for the best? And then I decide, okay, the best I can do is place Blast Sphere down, and even if he attacks me with Marshmallow or Spirit Reaper, then I still have enough life points to cover direct attacks from the other 2. and he will lose because thanks to Blast Spear's effect, any one of their attack points being enough to drain the life points. Thankfully, he went with the best case scenario. He attacked me with Uriah and then the other two, and I ended up winning. So, yay. Jeez, I could probably start doing a diatribe on something completely random and irrelevant. I mean, I have my list up here, and I guess I could do a small one on my personal Apple product problems. Now, I'm the kind of person that really doesn't like it whenever something is overexposed, overrated, too mainstream. I have to add in too mainstream because I am perfectly fine with something being mainstream if I find it good enough. But, you know, Apple is one of those things. I've already noted that. Well, I've had plenty of problems with my iPod Touch since I got it fixed. I don't know if I noted that it got fixed, but the screen is fixed now. It's still a bit buggy at times, like it won't register my finger exactly, but you know, it's workable. It's not as bad as it was before. And you know, I've come up with a few other problems since then. The biggest being that I have an iHome because I'm too rich, but whatever. I have an iHome, so you know, I can make a playlist called iHome, stick it into there to charge overnight, and then setting the alarm, I can wake up to any one of those songs randomly from my iHome. Now, I've had problems before with it picks one song too much, and there's this one instance where it kept on playing the exact same 3 songs over like 2 months. And so I finally decided, okay, I need to look into my playlist and see if it really is just complete luck or what's going on. Well, it turns out that my iPod, well, my iTunes is currently having a situation where it's always resetting back to 4 basic songs. And that's kind of cruel of it. I mean, seriously, I'm just trying to wake up to all the songs in my iPod at random, and it keeps on resetting to 4 songs, and I've become sick of those songs just because of it. It's just a mess at times. Jeez, I was thinking I had a whole lot more to say on this, but I guess I don't. Oh hey, duel. This was one of the more boring duels because I ended up, you know, stalling for time because I didn't want to win just by using a trap card like I always do. And sorry, I was just looking over at the top right and looking at Kagemaru's even younger portrait, and I love the face he makes whenever you give him damage. It's like, duh. And I had to stall for time to allow him to summon Ravel in the first place. And there was just a time where I couldn't do anything and he couldn't do anything. Then he summons Ravel and I get rid of it really quickly. It was just a pretty boring duel. And I'm being super redundant here, but I do not care. I just want to get this episode out there for the internet to look and laugh and scorn and other stuff at. And try and get on to something new, something that isn't nearly half an hour long, so that I can finish out this game and be able to enjoy it on my own. Because that's definitely one of the biggest things that's changed for me, is that I want to enjoy stuff on my own. Thanks to how little free time I get thanks to my school schedule and the homework that's with it. I have homework now, but I don't care. It's not too much. It's nearly Thanksgiving break. My teachers won't give me much anyway. That whenever I get the free time, I always want to watch an episode of a TV show. I want to watch a movie. I mean, good grief. If I have like 20 movies on my queue that I want to watch right now, but I need to wait on. And then I'm still under this weird thing where I feel like I have to do like 50 different things each day, or else I feel like I've wasted my day. So I'm like on YouTube. I may play a little bit of video games. You definitely, if you've been subscribed to me and you looked in my uploads recently, all I've really been doing is the video quiz, which is like my life now. So I want to try and get back into this. I want to try and finish this up so that I can look back on and be happy about. Dang it, nostalgia's awesome. Not really. So, I mean, trust me, I have this whole thing planned out for opinion. Well, I did have this whole thing planned out for opinions, but now that I'm taking Advanced Placement Language and Composition, which is just a rhetoric English class, then I'm waiting until I make sure that I know how to give an argument, I know how to properly portray my opinion before I go out there and say something stupid and make a fool of myself on the internet, which is where everybody makes a fool of themselves. The internet sucks, and yeah, it's awesome. You can see, like, the best and worst of people on the internet. Seriously, just... why? Oh, hey, Ravel. Yeah, these things were meant to be rip-offs of the Egyptian god cards. And it's fine by me, because you can use them in actual duels, unlike the Egyptian god cards in real life. They have really cool effects. I like how they're summoned. And not to mention, they have, like, the best fusion I've ever seen. It's also one of the hardest to get out there, but it's a cool fusion nonetheless. I've tried using decks around that fusion. I can't remember the name. But, you know, otherwise, I would totally use it. It's not in this game, unfortunately. It wasn't quite made yet. But, I mean, the World Championship games that have had it, I've definitely used it, and I definitely loved it. It's a bit of a wily card to use. It has 0 attack, 0 defense, and its effect is can't be destroyed in battle, and it has 10,000 attack points whenever it's your turn. When it's not your turn, it reverts back to 0. And so, as you saw there, I got rid of it. I used a really cool card I found, Dimension Wall, where I don't take any battle damage that would be given to me. It's actually more the opponent takes it for me, and that's really cool. I mean, that's why I love Amazon Swordswoman so much. But I mean, the duel just kind of was finished from there. My life points were getting kind of close to 0, but there was no way I was going to lose. And I had plenty of backups and other methods. Had 1 or 2 of them not worked. So, yay, there we go. Almost done. I'm almost finished with this, and I'll never have to think about, I'm pushing this part back, I'm not going to say much during this part, because as I've proven, I didn't have much to say at this part, haha. So, let me just give off this one little idea. One day while I was just sitting outside, I came up with, like, the best idea ever. I'd been seeing a lot of spiders that night, and when I saw one of them killed, it didn't have any of its legs on it. And so I came up with the idea, it's like, holy cow, imagine if spiders didn't have legs. I mean, that's like the most profound thing I've thought of in a while, so you can tell just how sad my life is. No, not really. But, seriously, I mean, think about it. Any spider without legs, I'm talking from the smallest house spider to the tarantula, for all I care. I mean, seriously, just... This is a cure to arachnophobia. I'm telling you, anybody I've told this to is like, oh my goodness, that's so true. Spiders without legs, they're not scary. They're actually kind of funny because they can't move. They just be like a little dot and they just kind of squirm around. I mean, sure, some of them are poisonous, but hey, they're funny. Just laugh at it, dang it. It's like a caterpillar or some of the small dark frogs. And oh hey, I won the duel. Yay! And so instead of seeing Kagemaru out of his little container, they somehow put him back in the container. Oh well. And he's just like, I just wanted to be happy, and everyone's like, oh, Kagemaru, you ruthless villain that almost destroyed the whole world. Oh, you. And even though Shepard says he's gonna put the cards up, turns out we're gonna be able to get them later, and Kagemaru keeps copies of the cards. But hey, it's time to go dorm, and it's time to finish out this part, and I'll see you next time.